was the session with Miss Kaito Chukwu, when she spoke about global opportunities and scholarship. It stood out for me because these are things we don't hear all of the time, but then when we get to hear it, we are kind of inspired or gingered. But that should not be the only thing, because if it's just you being gingered, it stops the next day. We could be gingered for some hours, we could be gingered for some days. I'm not sure we can be gingered for some months or for a month straight. So it actually takes intentionality to hear a talk, listen to a teaching, and then go back and do something about it. That's that's another thing to it. So I was reminded of my goals, my vision, and then it felt like, okay, it's actually possible to do all of this. And then it can be a bit discouraging when you've been on that path, but then because of some issues you left that path, or you just completely forgot about that path. So when we gather for meetings like this, it reminds us of our goals, of our visions. You see like minds, and then you feel again that, okay, I can actually do this. And yes, we can actually do this if we pay attention to what we need to pay attention to. So that has been it for me. Okay, I think we are having more leaders joining. So let me just make a brief announcement on the group chat, and then I would be back for the program. Thank you. Okay. Good evening, leaders. Good evening. Um, Welcome to the African Future Leaders Summit 2025. And this happens to be our third day of the program. Can I see your virtual emojis? Yeah, thank you very much. So you're welcome once more. Um, Before we start, let me quickly share my screen. Yeah, you're welcome once more. But before we dive into our section today, would have the founder of Top 100 speak to us a little bit about Project 100 scholarship. I believe it has been an impactful session so far for all the leaders who has been in attendance. So just sit and wait. This today's section promises to be impactful as well. So before we have our speakers speak to us today, I would like to invite the founder of Top 100 to please take the mic to speak to us about Project 100 Scholarship. Paul, if you're around, please, you can carry on.
Okay, hello everyone. Please confirm. Okay, sorry. I think good to go. All right, good day everyone. Good day, African future leaders. I don't think many of you actually know my face, so I'll be sharing my screen now. All right. So Project 100 scholarship. Hi everybody. Please confirm you can see me.
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you.
All right, amazing. All right, no need sharing my screen. You can just use what's on the screen. All right, hello everybody. My name is Paul Light. It's so nice to see your faces. Hello, Ogun Remy, if I'm not mistaken. Hello everybody. Hi Ella. Hi Ivo John. It's amazing seeing every one of us here. What started as a dream has grown to such magnitude, and I'm most grateful to our partners, to everyone here, to Belinda and Kechi. Thank you so much to One Young World and everyone that's actually on this call. All right, let's don't waste time because we have a project at hand. I know. Most of us were here during the call with Miss Kaito Chukudi. I don't know how many of us were here. If you are here, you can just like react with your emoji or something. Oh, amazing, precious, Abdul Latif. All right. So the session was actually amazing, but there's one keynote that we didn't really capture. Kaito was actually our first African future leader. It was in 2023. In fact, she has been with us right from time, even when she started getting global opportunities. We watched Kaito grow actually. Kaito just watch her to the small step of faith and how things got better. That's why Kaito's story is actually one that reflects the true value of top 100 African future leaders. So every one of us here, your story will be actually be much more better than Kaito. I actually believe that. All right, so going straight, every year during the African Future Leaders, we actually organize a project. In the African Future Leaders 2024, there were actually two projects. I think there are two SDG, one on finance, and the other was on health. Like remember, one was on finance, money, something like that, and the other was on health. So this year we are taking this thing higher. We are going for Project 100 scholarship. So I'm actually here to bring clarity to this because not so many people have actually had the opportunity for us to just talk. Okay, Afolabi Kayode, your hands are raised. I don't know why, but just lower it till the time for the interactive section. I hope that helped. All right, so for this 100 scholarship, it's an avenue where we aim to give out 100 scholarship to underprivileged young individuals in our immediate local environment. All right. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that you go to your streets, you go to your immediate local community, those in Angola, those in Kenya, Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria, regardless of where you are. Top 100 we can't actually, see from your perspectives, but you start within your immediate local community. You find one person, primary, secondary, no university yet, because we want to start from the grassroots, primary, secondary, that you feel like these people who are unable to afford the school fees or something. Just get one or two people, all right? Just get one or two people, their name. If their parents permit, maybe you can just get the picture of them, and then together we are going to sponsor these people in secondary school. But remember that whatever we are actually doing and whatever we are actually doing, it's something that we are going to give accounts for. It's something that we are going to submit the records for future sake, and also for United Nations project. So there's something I was actually talking with part of the team members. I was telling them something. I told them that, see, little drops, there is a proverb, there's an adage that see little drops makes the mighty ocean. You know, when people come, they see the little drops, but then they forget. So when people come, they see the mighty ocean, but then they forget the little drops. We as a community, if we all individually identify one person from our immediate local community, let's say you go, you see this person, you actually show that these people, at please don't use your siblings. Don't use your siblings. I'm begging you guys. Don't like, oh, this my junior brother. Come, says cheese. No, please. We are trying to be honest here. Integrity is a watchword, and we wouldn't want to start on a bad note. So if we can starting from our immediate local community, identify people that are underprivileged, that you're actually sure that these people can't actually afford this scholarship, then you have a responsibility now to get their details and a mission now to ensure. I'm not saying you should give them cash. I'm saying that you go to their school, inquire the cost of their fees, starting from there, inquire the cost of their fees, then together we are going to get it done. So the Project 100 scholarship, it's each and every one of us go to our local community. Yes, even if the school is a private school, it's okay. But please be sure that these people actually are in need of these things, all right? Just so for the 100 scholarship is every one of us on this call, every top 100 African future leader is a personal project. I'll talk about the funding. I know you've asked about funding, but I'll talk about it towards the end of the video. The personal project, something that you would show in the future. Something that you show in the future, all right? So when Kaito was saying something, she made mention of something. She said she was involved in a particular project, and that was the project she sold when she used the most. I don't know how many of us were there. She said she crafted her essay, her SOP, to be like she was the one that championed that agenda, the one that championed that project. And when MasterCard saw it, they were really impressed. You know, most of us, when applying for most of these opportunities, our story is just, I went to school, I came out from school, I became a president. My president is even good. Some people are just, I went to school, I came out from school, I graduated to first class. No, please. All right. So the 100 scholarship is one that you can be proud of. That if you go out there, I know that in as much as you brought in one person, but when cumulatively, of course, we are going to send the document. I just need to explain all these things in details. All right. These are interactive class before our next speaker will come up. It's an interactive class. I think we have a few times left. Yeah, and you can ask questions. You get to understand what's all about, and then when we are sending details and other things, follow-ups on the group chat, you'll be able to know, the next step forward. So Kaito was saying something about the project she championed. She was just part of voluntarily, but she used it. Yes, Gambia should be part of the scholarship, of course, within your immediate local community, regardless of where you are. If you can just go out there and identify the people, just if you can identify people in your immediate local environments, then we are good to go. All right. So yeah, sorry, back to what I was saying. The responsibility is that you go out there, you locate one person. I know your hands are raised, but I don't when I'm done, then we can start the interaction. You locate one person, you get their details, you share it with us for documentation, you get their school fees. One or more persons, of course you can, but remember we have a limit. In fact, we don't have a limit, we are limitless, because any number of persons we bring, we are still also going to talk about their funding. All right. So yes, did I finish Kaito's story? I'm being distracted. Please, no, I'm not asking any other question till it's time for questions. All right, so Kaito, during her yesterday session, she made mention of a particular project that she was involved in. Not just Kaito, even our previous awardees of a particular order, a particular awardee, Emmanuel, he was part of the SDG on health, right now. Sorry, Favor Meye, he was part of the SDG on health, and right now he's actually blossoming. Most of this project is something that you can, it's yours, something that you hold on to, something that you can submit out there, you can be proud of. All right, if every one of us can identify at least one person in the immediate local community, we can be having over one or more, having over 500 people on our scholarship. All right, now we talk about the funding. Now let's talk about the funding. All right, so we have two sources of funding this project. One, we are funding it as a community, and two, we are funding it through the help of our sponsors. Stop that now. Through the help of our sponsors. All right, so but our sponsors now, they need us to take the first step. The first step is what I'm actually asking every one of us to go out there and identify one person, to go out there and find who is actually in need of all these things. All right, that is the first step. Then when we've compiled the list together, our sponsors can come in. Remember, two ways. Our sponsors may come in, and two, we are sponsoring as a community. By sponsoring as a community, I mean one or two persons can come together like, all right, so I'd like to be part of this project, and they'll be like, okay, how much is this school fees? 10,000, 20,000. All right, if two people can come together and do this and do that, at the end, when you're writing your story, just be like you're part of the Project 100 scholarship and empowered like 300 people, 400 people. So we are top 100. We're not saying we should give us the money. We're not interested in your money. Or we're just saying that be part of this project. Give us the list, give us the names, and then when we submit the names to our partners, they can sponsor the ones they can, and why we will come together to sponsor the rest. But we aim to make this thing not just in Nigeria, but to spread across all countries that top 100 is being impacted. All right, so we don't have much time, so I'm open for questions. If anybody have any question, just raise your hand, and then you can unmute, and I'm here to answer your questions. Okay, Tambado Farms, yes, please. Just unmute your mic and ask your questions.
Good evening, everyone. I am Aissatou Tambadou from the Gambia. Thank you for joining this program. I had a questions. I have a neighbor. She's a widow, and she have like 4 kids. So my husband is sponsoring one of his eldest son. So still now he's having other 2 kids who are dropped out. They're not going to school. So I was asking if the 2 of them can have the privilege to have the scholarship, because they were trying in school, but because of their dad passed away, so things are very hard with them. Thank you.
It's hi, Tambado, and thank you for that. Thank you to your husband that's actually taking up the responsibility of sponsoring one of them in school. That's really great. I'm really impressed by that. Send our regards to him. So if Tambado can sponsor it, sure we can, but you just know that it's not us that will determine the overall. Like all you just have to do is send their names, send their details, and maybe doing vetting or verification. Our partners will sponsor the ones they can, and while as a community will sponsor the rest. But yeah, you can actually send their names across. All right. Thank you, Tambado, for that. I hope that helps. Shamsuddin.
Yes,
Muhammad
I'm here.
Idris. All right.
Yes,
Yes,
I'm
please
here.
go ahead.
So, good evening, sir. So, my question is, I joined some minutes after 7. So, I heard you explaining the rest of the submission process. So, I don't know if you can please use some seconds to still re-explain the submission process, so that, because I have so many students I can submit, because I'm working with an organization, Junior Achievement Nigeria. So while carrying out their project, I found out I can still submit students for this program. Please, if you can explain the submission process for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamsuddin. Sorry, Shamsuddin. Can I get your location? Where exactly are you
Yes,
in? What
I'm
state are you
speaking
in?
from Dulce, Jigawa State.
Okay, that's great to hear you from you, Shamsuddin from Jigawa State. All right, so
Yes,
your question is if you can submit like a whole class or like I know more than one person's.
yes,
Of
yes,
course,
sir.
of course you can. And then the process for submission, um,
Yes,
okay, the process just need like three, it just need few steps. One is a form that's going to be submitted, a form, a Google form, or maybe a Microsoft sheet. It's going to be sent.
yes,
But now we need evidence. I don't know how we can do it because the more people you bring, the more burden it is on you. Like,
yes,
need evidence that these people were actually. So is either you submit a video, video like. I'm not saying they should go out there and they should start screaming, I'm broke, I'm poor, I'm in need, help me, help me, help me. No, no, no. Just,
yes, I
hi, my
understand.
name is this, and I'm this, and I'm this, you know. Just say why we need it. Oh my God, sorry, my voice is not clear.
It's clear. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I believe that helps. I believe that helps. So just once the form is submitted, you will see the details that are that are needed for it. All
All
right.
right.
I'm sorry if my voice is not clear. I will try to make it clearer.
Yes.
Though I
So
think it's
from
my
here, it's
network.
clear.
Okay, that's impressive. That's impressive. So
Yes.
just few more questions before Emmanuel Philip. Oh, I have a lot of questions. Emmanuel Philip, before you ask your question, let me just answer some questions from the comment section. So Mark Goitom said their presenter voice wasn't clear and they are letting joining individuals better things to compile the question of the document with possible answers. Okay, the document is in preparation, but this is just like the first approach to hear from you guys to explain it. So when the documents come, the thing that there's also going to be a group where we can just have a conversation like face to face, back to back, and know how we can go about it. How soon we begin, especially since secondary school students. So it's actually going to be resumed before September. We aim to make the payments and all the rest by September. So the projects will just lasting till September 1st. Can the nominee be undergraduate or must it be high school student? For now, we are targeting high school students. All right, the young ones that are below the age of working, because the aim of the SDG is to see that these ones at least get the basic fundamental education. All right, at least just get the fundamental education needed. So we are starting with the little ones, which are those ones you are seeing on the screen over there. All right, so yes, primary school or secondary school, as far as they are below the working age, 18 at most, they are good to go. Yeah, if we have up to 500 people, we all of them get the scholarship. Yes, all of them can get the scholarship, but it's, as like I said earlier, it depends on us. There are two sources of funding: one as a community, two through our partners. But our partners need us as a community to take the first step, and the first step is what I just mentioned now. So if we have more than 500 people, all of them can get it if community comes together, and if our sponsors decide, okay, let's handle the whole 500, or they depend. If they say no, if you are sticking with the 100, there's going to be just 100, then community will sponsor the remaining 400. But regardless, we are actually going to see how far we can get this done. Am I missing any question? Yes, let's take some personal question. Who is still raising their hands? Just one person. Let me just mention you. Adamu Muhammad. No, yes, Adamu Muhammad. Yes, yes, please. If you're on the call, unmute your mic, show your face, and ask a question. Adamu Muhammad. Okay. Marianne Benibo. Yes, who's talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Marianne.
All right, maybe. All right, Marianne, go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I would like to ask for the scholarship. Is it a one-time sponsorship, or is there a duration for the secondary school or primary school person that will be awardee rather?
Okay, thank you so much for that, Marianne. Okay, if it's for now is a one-time thing, like September is a one-time thing, but towards the next term, we can roll over or we may not. But for now, just know it's a one-time thing, like for now, one-time thing. But it all depends on the later outcome. We can and the total fees. If the school fees that are coming in is not something that maybe $1,000 per person, we can actually
Okay, so
run a
so
whole
okay,
session. Yeah.
okay, it's like the payment is like a one-time fee that if for instance is $1,000, they can spread it across the term or something, or it's just the amount that we bring for the awardee. That's what is going to be paid to the person. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yes, I understand your question. I understand the question, but I can't really answer that right now because
Okay.
the amount is actually subjective. Okay,
Okay.
we can't say it's a full-time session where we see that a particular candidate or student is actually the fees actually
Okay.
are like occupy space for like 10 others. So it
Okay.
is subjective to the person, maybe the school, could be a local school, it could be a private school, regardless, but it's subjective. So for now, I'll just leave that answer blank.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Emmanuel Philip, just take one more or two questions before we call it a
Yes,
night.
I
Yeah,
hear
hi,
you.
Emmanuel Philip. Please, please,
All right.
please,
My question,
can I see your faces? Can I see your faces, please? I need to see your faces.
I don't have light over here.
Excuse me,
All
sir,
right,
you
great.
gave
Go ahead.
me
Um,
chance to speak.
my question
Sorry
is,
for the
if
interruption.
we do have,
Emmanuel, hold on. Who is trying to say something?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm trying to say something lately, but my network, I couldn't open my mic. So you skip me. You allow me to say something or to
Okay,
ask my
sorry about
question.
that. Sorry about that.
Uh,
Yes, Adam, yes, you can go ahead.
yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My question is that what is the process of the submission, and is there any criteria for selecting the nominees, or we can just find out whoever we wish? Thank you so much.
So, what are the criteria for submission? I think I talked about that. Okay, for those that don't understand what's going on, yeah, we're talking about the Project 100 scholarship. Adama, I'll get to your question, but let me just give a brief for those that are just joining on. So, part of our projects as top 100, we are going to give scholarship to 100 or more underprivileged individuals, especially these young ones. And we have a responsibility to go out there and get people to go out there and get people that cannot afford basic education. All right, we're targeting those in primary school, those in secondary school, but those beyond below the working age. All right, so you go out there, you find people within your local community, regardless of where you're from, Nigeria, Gambia, Cameroon, Ghana, Ethiopia, regardless of where you're from. You go out there, you get these names, get this individual details, you submit it. All right. And like I said earlier, we have two sources of funding. We have our sponsors and we have as a community. Both of us are actually going to sponsor it together. And this is, I don't know how many of us were here during the presentation yesterday. I'll get to the submission project, but this is something you own. All right, you can add to your CV, you can add to your SOP. When you are submitting, you're applying for scholarship, you're applying for something, you can put it out there that you are part of Project 100 scholarship. You gave scholarship to, you identified 300 young individuals within 36 states, 4 countries, within Africa. Just something you can just, add there, and it's also in line with United Nations agenda. So, Adamo, the submission process, if I'm not mistaken, that was your question. Submission process is that a link is going to be sent to the group very soon. Links going to be sent to the group. More fast, if there's a document that's going to be sent to the group, more information will be sent to the group in due time. More information will be sent to the group in due time. I believe every question you need is already there. The deadline for the submission is before September 1st. Is before September 1st. Adam, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you so much for the clarification.
All right, so Huzaifa Mohammed Bello. So she's asking, when is the program starting? Was its duration? The project is covering only one term, fees of the students, or is the submission of all the terms till they finish secondary school? What is the submission process? All right, the submission process is through a form that's going to be sent. The duration of the school fees payment is subjective to the price or to the amount, or to be subjected to the amount or to the fees actually. Because you can see someone that's the fees is $1,000 per term and decide to cover it if the person graduates. That's actually not so subjective, and I'll just leave that answer blank. I believe as we go ahead and based on the submission that is being sent, it's really now that will determine if we can cover one term, we can cover if the person graduates, or you can just skip the person. All right, I do not have time. I think I'll be handing over the mic.
Good evening, sir. Sorry, I just have two questions, like confirmation, please. Can I ask?
Oh, Adebayo Pelumi, right? Yes, go ahead and ask.
Yes, sir. All right, thanks so much, sir. So, sir, it's about the funding. You mentioned like funding through the community. So, do you also mean that we have to reach out to those that are like that we feel that have money in our community and then talk to them about Project 100, or just to also source for funding for Project 100? Is that what you are trying to do?
Please, you're not saying you should go and beg anybody for money.
Okay.
Don't beg anybody for money.
Okay.
All you're just saying is that you play your role. As a community, you play your role. And your role is to go there, identify them.
And okay, now and also, sir, the students, like what of those, I'm thinking of one of those that are already in primary school, or is our main focus on those that have not even like that are not even able to go to school before, or those that are already there and then they have like they can't fund that more due to financial issue, etc., like that, or just people that have not even had plans of going at all?
Anyone works. Those that dropped out, those that's already going, those that can never go at all, anyone work. But please find someone that actually in need of this thing. So I believe, okay, someone just asked the question now. Okay, a group is going to be sent. The group is going to be sent where more information can be communicated to everyone based on what we've said so far. So I believe we are going to still talk more about it. This is actually the first step. The documents, the forms, every other thing is going to be sent soon. Adebayo Pelumi, why are you laughing?
No, I'm not laughing.
So I believe everything is going to be sent soon, and more information is going to be passed across. All right, thank you so much, everyone. I know you have lots of questions. I can't really answer all the questions now. I believe the document can provide some answers. And thank you so much for having me. It's nice to see everyone of us here, and hope to hear from you guys once again. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that polite. Thank you for that explanation. So I believe we have a general concept of what Project 100 scholarship is. We would attend to further questions. Yes, there's a group chat for that. And if possible, we could also open our main group chat so that you can ask your questions and we can have some interactions concerning it. Right. Thank you. So we'd confirm if our speakers is around. Okay, we have one speaker around. So we'd introduce him briefly and would start with the section. Okay, so for today, our first speaker would be Mr. Damilola Babatunde, and he'll be taking us on from frustration to global recognition. But before we hear him speak, let us listen to his profile. Damilola Babatunde is an internationally recognized changemaker and policy advisor with a distinguished track record in youth leadership, peace building, and gender equality advocacy. As the executive director of the Young Changemakers Foundation, he drives strategic programs that promote peace, social justice, and inclusive development across communities. Damilola also serves as Senior International Youth Advisor to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, where he provides direct policy input on foreign trade and development cooperation in regions spanning Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and South America. Damilola's impact has earned him global recognition through prestigious fellowships and leadership roles with organizations such as the United States Institute of Peace General Change Fellow, Women Deliver, One Young World, The One Campaign, Queen's Commonwealth Trust, McKinsey and Company, and the Institute for Economics and Peace. His expertise has been sought by leading institutions, including the World Health Organization, UN Women, and the World Bank, and his research has been showcased to academics from top universities, including Harvard University. Damilola has participated in some of the world's most competitive global programs, meeting His Holiness the Dalai Lama as one of the 24th youth leaders selected by USIP and receiving the Peaceful Futures Scholarship with a selection rate of just 0.38%. As an accomplished scholar and advocate, he holds a Bachelor of Pharmacy, BPharm, from the University of Ibadan, where he graduated as one of the best students and earned a place on the Dean's Roll of Honor. His passion for peace, gender equity, and youth empowerment continues to shape dialogues and policies at the highest levels globally. So if our emojis are not so busy, please let us welcome Mr. Damilola Babatunde as he takes the mic. You're welcome, sir. Good evening. If you're on the call, please do.
Hello everyone. Can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
We can hear you, sir. You're audible.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the very generous introduction. Hello everyone. Glad to know that you can hear me and can see me. Thank you so much, Paul, and your team for actually inviting me to this event. I've done quite a while. I've had some of the amazing things you are planning, like the Project 100 scholarship and other things. Well done on that. I'm truly honored to be here to speak to you on a topic that I think is very relevant and timely at this particular point in time. And I'm sure most of you too will find the topic very relevant to you too, from frustration to global recognition. So I can still really remember when I was growing up in a local community in Bada. My childhood was a constant lesson in resilience, born out of deep frustration with the one around me, especially because of the socio-economic conditions in which I actually grew up. I remember when I had to take very long walks to school. The journey measured not in steps, but in the fear of being kidnapped due to a lot of issues that is happening around in my community. I remember the constant threat of thuggery groups forcing us to leave school early. There were several times we had to leave school because of the threat of some thug groups trying to probably attack us in that community because of a land tussle issue and some conflicts that have been protracted for a while. I also remember a lot of preventable deaths in our community. A lot of friends and neighbors who are dying to illness that has been long been eradicated in other parts of the world. People are dying due to malaria, something that can easily be cured, by just like a $1 drug. And unfortunately, because they could not afford it, a lot of people are actually dying. And this moment when just passing frustrations, they were a fire that began to burn deep inside me. They were a constant nagging reminder that the world was not as it should be.
And this actually motivated me to get into an international development space, to simply stop complaining like others, but to start taking tangible actions, towards the resolution of this issue. My own journey began with very small steps. It began with volunteering with several organizations, learning everything as much as you could. And this led me to founding the Young Changemakers Foundation, which is actually a youth-led organization that works on peace and security, gender equality, as well as policy advocacy. And also led me to participating in several competitive fellowships, some of which were mentioned, by the person who introduced me, speaking at international convenings and consulting for multilateral organizations. And today I advise foreign governments, and I've had the opportunity to speak at the United Nations headquarters, and I'm currently spearheading several multi-regional projects. But all this actually started, from taking little steps of being a volunteer to several organizations. But my story is actually not unique. I've seen this pattern over and over again in several circumstances. You must know that frustration is not a dead end. It's actually a powerful source of energy and a catalyst for change. It is the fuel that has driven countless individuals to move from being observers of a problem to becoming a solution. As the activist and writer James Baldwin once said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. We must all face our frustrations head on. I'm so sure everyone on this call, has several issues, that is making you to be frustrated, either in your community, either in your society, or your country as a whole. I also want to share the stories of others who have done just that, turning their own personal and collective frustrations into movements that have achieved global recognition. Take Amsat Lawal and Oludotun Babayemi, for example. They were frustrated by the catastrophic impact of lead poisoning in Bagiga community in Zamfara. In Zamfara State, Nigeria. In 2010, the crisis was largely known to the rest of Nigeria as well as the world. In his Bagega, which is actually a very local community in Zamfara, there has been a lead poisoning that has led to the death of a lot of children, that's polluted the water, and is making life very difficult in that community. But Amsat Lawa actually launched, Save Bagiga campaign. So rather than just complaining about the situation, they decided to do something about it by launching a campaign. They went into the community, capturing the heartbreaking stories of the people, and they used traditional and social media, especially Twitter, at that point in time, and they made this issue, which is just a local issue, into a global one. And the campaign actually went viral. And by the end of January 2013, the story had reached over 1 million people and was covered by over 15 media organizations. And this immense pressure from the public actually forced the Nigerian government, who have decided not to take action for a long time, to finally release about $5.3 million for the cleanup of the Bagega community. Now, instead of this action that they took, it gave rise to the Follow the Money movement, which is actually an international platform now that tracks government spending on social projects to ensure that funds are used effectively. Now, today, Follow the Money has won several global awards, from the United Nations, from the One organization, as well as other international organizations, and it has a presence in many African countries. Then there's also Malala, who was frustrated by the Taliban's banning girls from attending school in Pakistan. Her frustration wasn't silent. It was a powerful, eloquent voice, advocating for the right of girls. She started by writing a blog for the BBC at the age of 11, and she was documenting her life under the Taliban rule and her belief in education. Because of her bravery and an unwavering commitment, she became a target and leading to a brutal assassination attempt. But rather than this institution to silence her, she actually became a global symbol for peace and the right to education. And in 2014, just at the age of 17 years old, Malala became the youngest ever recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And her story is a powerful testament to the fact that when frustration is channeled into a righteous cause, it can move mountains. Now, you must know that some people are actually frustrated, and because of this, they went into very unrighteous causes. Some became terrorists, some went into fraud and rest like that. But today we are here to talk about how you can turn frustration into righteous causes that can eventually lead to global recognition. Now, another remarkable example is Miriam Bukar Azan. She was born in northern Nigeria, and her childhood was tragically shaped by the Boko Haram insurgency. She witnessed firsthand the devastating violence that forced her family to move repeatedly. But instead of letting this violence define her, she used her lived experience as a source of creative power. She turned her frustration and pain into poetry and storytelling, using her art to advocate for peace and resilience. Her work not only captured her personal struggle, but became a rallying cry for countless others, coping with crisis and conflict. Her powerful voice urged people to give peace a chance. And last month, her impact was actually recognized by the United Nations. She was appointed as the first ever United Nations global advocate for peace. There was someone who was a victim of terrorism, but because of she was able to turn her frustration into action, just using poetry and storytelling and leveraging her creative skills, she's now recognized, globally for peace. And this shows, what can actually happen if you decided to use your frustration as a fuel to solve some of those issues. And it's not just about social issues, actually. Frustration has been the genesis of some of the world's most innovative businesses. At the age of 24, Drew Austin founded Dropbox out of sheer personal frustration. As an MIT student, he was constantly losing his USB drives containing important files for his project. And the frustration of that one moment, the moment he forgot his USB drive for the last time, led to a simple idea. What if you could all have your files in the cloud, accessible from anywhere? That idea, born from a common annoyance, evolved into a global file hosting service with over 700 million users and a market capitalization of over 7.5 billion US dollars as of today. And this proves that a great solution to a personal frustration can become a global necessity. As the author and futurist Alvin Toffler noted, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. This relearning is what happens when we face a problem and refuse to accept the status quo. So, how do you make that transition? How do you move from a place of frustration to a position of influence and impact? I would like to share a few things that I found helpful personally to me on this journey. First, you need to understand that the world rewards not those who complain, but those who take action. There are several millions of people, complaining about several situations you have, either in your community, either in your state, either in your region, either in your country or the continent as a whole. But the people who the world is going to reward are those who are brave enough to actually take action, no matter how small that action may be. The largest critics are rarely the most effective change makers. The person who sees a problem and says, I'm going to do something about this, is the person who ultimately drives progress. Second, you need to identify the area where you want to make an impact. You must understand that there are countless problems in the world, and definitely you cannot solve everything. There's problem regarding education, there's problem regarding climate change, there's problem regarding gender-based violence, there's problem regarding corruption, there's a problem regarding lack of transparency in government, and several other problems. So you must understand that you can't solve all problems. So you need to choose your battles wisely. Don't be a jack of all trades. Become a master of one or some. Choose your battle based on your lived experiences, your passion, your capabilities, and the market demand for a solution. It's about finding the intersection of what the world needs and what you can uniquely offer. Third, understand that resources will never be enough. And I like to make reference to a song sung by Burna Boy when he sang that Dangote still they find money. For people that might not know, Dangote is the richest black man in the world. And despite this, Dangote is still looking for money. You see Dangote still launching, new businesses and new projects, a new initiative, for him to, make money, maximize shareholder value. So if someone like Dangote is still constantly on the look to expand his own wealth, talk less of, a young person like me and you. So it shows that resources will never be enough. So do not wait. You must take action in whatever way you can. And you must leverage, several opportunities that you have. I was listening to this project one scholarship that Paul was talking about earlier. So this is an opportunity for you, to actually get involved, to take action, support one or more young person in your community who might be finding it difficult, to access education. Now you must know that the resources will come along the way. So the resources is not going to come to you at the beginning; it's going to come to you along the way. Now, my former boss, Folake Odediran, she has this wonderful saying that has always stuck with me. And the saying goes thus: clarity reveals itself in momentum. You don't need to have a perfect plan or a full bank account to start. You just need to start. The clarity on what to do next will come as you take the first few steps. Now, the fourth one is actually volunteer. You see, volunteering is actually an underrated pathway to a career, a business, and social impact, because it enables you to build invaluable knowledge, skills, and experience without the pressure of a full-time job. And the best time to actually volunteer is when you're a young person, when you have less, family pressure and economic pressure and so on. For me, I can't count the number of times I've actually volunteered. And each experience for me was a masterclass in project management, teamwork, and problem solving. It's actually where you truly learn what works and what doesn't. It's where you improve your commitment, and passion. And there are several opportunities to volunteer. There are several volunteering organizations, around the world for you to actually volunteer. So find, organization where you can volunteer, whereby what they are working on actually aligns, with what you are doing, and where you can actually learn and actually grow as a person. For Nigerians, we have this NYSC. Sometimes a lot of people do not like NYSC because they can take you to a very remote state, with very bad socio-economic conditions. But one of the advantages of NYSC, is that you have like community development service projects where you can actually learn, build your capacity there, and that can actually help you, when you're applying for several things. Maybe scholarships, fellowships, and like that. You can be able to actually show how you're able to make impact with little resources. But beyond that, you also get to build your skills. You also get to get experience, you get to network and meet people. And volunteering has actually been one of the things that have actually helped me in my own career. As well about volunteering, that it does not just end, right? Volunteering, especially when you're in international development space, volunteering is something that you do, lifelong. At several points in time, you have to actually volunteer. Now, I remember when I started volunteering, it was such a funny story. There was a time I actually applied to volunteer at a particular event. They wanted to host a particular event. I was like, oh, this is a very interesting event. Let me actually apply to volunteer at that event. And unfortunately, I was rejected. I was not accepted as a volunteer, and I felt really pained because wanted to give away my time, my skills for free, and they still said no. And it actually strengthened my resolve to actually grow as a person, to become much more valuable. Now today, I get paid to actually co-organize international development, international events at different places. So we're all in different phases in our life, right? There'll be a time whereby you have to, volunteer, where you have to do things for free. But there'll be a time too where people will actually offer you, to pay you for things that you've learned during your volunteer period. So please do not pass away opportunities for you to actually volunteer and improve yourself. Now, to the next one, you need to network. But my advice to you is to network in a way that you actually add value. So don't just go around collecting people's business cards only in the way of networking. To build a sustainable network, it must be mutually beneficial to you as well as to the person that you are networking with. Now, ensure that you offer people value first, and in turn, they will want to help you. So don't go around looking for mentors or looking to network with people, and all you want to do is just to extract value from them without giving anything in return. You must also ensure that you try that this network is actually mutually beneficial. Ensure you offer people value first, and in turn, they want to help you. Last year, I remember meeting a World Bank consultant who I actually admire her work so much. And when I met her, I learned that she was having some trouble, getting a document for an NGO, for her NGO. And rather asking her for a favor, what I did was that I introduced that to somebody I knew through my network, who was able to help her get a document that she had been struggling to get in months. She was able to get it in a few days' time. Now, imagine if I ask her for a favor today now, and another person who she met at that same event asked her for a favor. Who do you think she's going to want to help? Of course, me, because I was able to provide value for her at that point in time. So you must understand that no matter how big a person is, and no matter how small you think you are, there's always something of value that you can offer people. There's something that you can do for them that is of value. And that's how you can actually build a sustainable network. Rather than just collecting people's contact details, send them countless messages or email, that they will most likely ignore. Now, the sixth advice is to learn to build capacity. Learn about your field relentlessly. The more knowledge you acquire, the more valuable you become to your mission, to your community, and to your network. So this is about deep expertise. And people always trust experts, and they follow people who are truly knowledgeable. And by being an expert, you don't necessarily need to be a professor or a PhD to be an expert. You must just be able to understand, the area where you play deeply. Seventh, learn how to tell a story. Like, storytelling is a very, very critical skill. I can't really emphasize it enough. Regardless of the field you are, you will need to tell story at several points in time. You must learn to tell your story in a way that is emotional, but also in a way that is compelling. You need storytelling to convince people to join you on your mission, to give you a job, to invest in you, to raise funds, to explain your course, and to make meaningful progress. Now, your story is one of the most powerful tools because it separates you from others. We can have similar skills, we can have similar experience, but our story can never be the same. So one of the things that can separate you from others, in several spheres, whether you are applying for something, like you're trying to get a particular position, is your story. Your story is very unique. There's nobody in this world that has the similar story like yourself. So you must learn to own your story and to tell your story. Now, the eighth advice is to apply for opportunities. Now, we're in a world whereby opportunities has been democratized. It was not like before, whereby you will need to know someone to get opportunities, or you will need to go and get a newspaper to be following up opportunities. Right from your phone, wherever you are in the world, you can learn about several opportunities. There are countless fellowships and capacity programs available, locally, nationally, and internationally. And thank you to Paul for creating such a platform like this. But beyond this, there are several other opportunities that you can apply to improve your capacity. So learn to put your best foot forward. But you must also remember that people only want to help those who have already done something for themselves. So try to build a track record and demonstrate that you are worth the investment. In this life that we have, people only want to help you once you have done something for yourself. So don't expect that someone is just going to help you without you trying out for yourself. So if you want people to believe in yourself, you must show them that you also believe in yourself by taking relevant action. But not just taking action, but documenting the action that you take. Whatever you do, regardless of how small or how big it is, ensure that you document. I can remember my mentor telling me several years ago that everything counts. Like, everything counts. Everything you do, document it. Every award they give you, either it is small or it's big, either it's local or national, international, please ensure that you document it, because that helps you to build a strong track record. Then ninth one is learn to accept rejection without giving up. You see, the journey from frustration to global recognition is not a straight line. It is full of setbacks, challenges, and no's. You will face them and they will feel personal, but you must persevere and keep trying. Each no is not a judgment on your worth. it's simply a rejection. Like a common saying, when you are sent a rejection, they are not rejecting you, they are rejecting maybe your application, they are rejecting maybe the proposal you submitted, and the rest. Do not take rejections to be personal. The key about rejection is to learn from it and move on. There are several times that I've also faced, rejection, not just rejections of opportunities, but sometimes you get some, global opportunities, you get the funding to go for these opportunities. Unfortunately, you'll be denied a visa. And it's very painful, when you get, rejections. But you must also learn to see that a redirection or an opportunity for you to learn and develop yourself. So do not take rejection personal. Rejection will definitely come at several points in time. And ability to deal with this rejection and move on, despite this rejection, will allow you to forge ahead. Now, then finally, you must understand that your actions, no matter how small, contributes to solving the bigger problem. Sometimes you might not be able to measure concretely, how does your small action, leads to the bigger change? How does you supporting, one young person in your community to go to school, helps to solve the bigger education crisis that we have, in Nigeria or on the continent. But you must understand that every small action you take, actually contributes to solving the bigger problem. Why you may not see the immediate global impact of your work, your project, your research, your advocacy is actually a crucial part of a larger mosaic of change. You are not a solitary figure in this fight. You are one of many, each doing their part. And together, you and I, we create a ripple effect that can change the world. Now, in closing, remember this. The fire of frustration is not meant to consume you. It is meant to forge you. It is a powerful transformative energy that, when channeled correctly, can create a world-changing impact. Don't let your frustrations be a source of complaint. Let them be the seed of your purpose. Identify that problem that keeps you up at night. Take that first step and trust that the clarity and resources you need will find you along the way. Because the world is waiting for you to turn your frustration into a force for good. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful session. Thank you. It was indeed powerful, and I learned a lot. And then when you mentioned NYSC, I was like, yes, that's the perfect example. Because trust me, the government would frustrate you. I'm currently serving, fortunately. So I was able to understand that. Thank you very much for that session. I believe we have questions. So if you do have questions, you could either unmute the mic or you could send them using the chat box. But I would start with a question, sir. Okay, sir, what if a person is in a situation where your interest spans across many things actually? You feel you could do this, you feel you could do that, you feel you could also do this, and it's becoming overwhelming because you're just feeling and you're not doing anything actually. You just keep making plans, you're not doing anything, you don't know where to start from, what to do exactly. In such situation, how would you advise the person?
All right, thank you so much for your question. I think this is also a challenge that a lot of young people actually battle with, because sometimes you are interested in several things, or sometimes you are actually multi-talented and you can do several things. So it becomes really difficult on how to actually narrow your focus. So just like I said, when I give my presentation, you must ensure that there's a match. First, you look for things that you're actually good in and you can succeed in. But you also look for things that people are looking for, like what is the market demand. There are several problems in the world, but unfortunately, not all problems are actually worth solving. So you must look for problems that there is a market demand for this particular problem, and also look for the ones that you have the capability to solve, and you have the resources to solve, and you narrow your focus in that particular point. And when you actually do this, you can actually venture into several other areas of your interest. Just to give an example, when the Gates started, his focus was on technology. Like, it was so focused on technology that he dropped out. But today, if you get hardly does anything on technology now. It's focused on global health, and several other issues through his foundation. But that was because he tried to focus on a particular area first, and he was actually successful. Then he moved to another area. So it's just good, especially as a young person, most time with limited time and resources, to focus on the areas that you think will as where you can actually make the most impact. It doesn't mean you throw away those other interests. You have those other interests, but later in life, you can still have time, to pursue, those interests.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I think that would really help. When you said look for problem where there is a market demand, I started thinking again, because we can actually have problems where there is not a market demand, and it might not really be very fruitful. But please, can you still buttress on that point? A problem where there's a market, and can you give instances of a problem where there would likely not be a market demand for, and a problem where would actually require a market demand?
I mean, this is especially relevant for people who are in the business sector as well as social enterprise. Not all problems are worth solving. That's why you see, every day, hear on the news that a particular startup, has actually died. And that's most of the time is due to lack of product market fit. You must also ensure that whenever you're solving a problem, it's a problem that people want. People are willing, especially in business angle, people are willing to actually pay for that particular problem. It could be a problem, but people are not willing to support you, or people are not so willing to pay for the solution that you bring up. So in that particular case, in point in time, the business will not be sustainable. So it's very important that you carry out market research to ensure that this problem is worth solving. There's people actually need this solution that you are developing. They need it to the extent that they are willing to pay for that particular solution. And that can ensure that whatever product you develop is actually sustainable, and it's not just for a short period of time. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, I saw a comment on the chat box. I think Esther said it depends on one's interest and passion. So identify your passion and tailor your solution towards it if it's in high demand anyway. All right, thank you for that contribution, Esther. So if you have questions, please do unmute your mic and speak. I can see two hands up.
Hello. Hello, good evening. My name is Shamsuddin, coming back again. Sir, my question is, I'm really touched and I'm inspired, honestly, by all you have said this night. Can you please help us with these advices as you are mentioning them? Can you please help us either in the group chat here or in the WhatsApp group chat, so that we can be going through, and we need to be reading them honestly so that to prepare against what is coming. Thank you so much.
I believe he's asking for the slides. So,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
So I didn't actually use a slide, but I didn't actually use a slide, but this call is recorded, right? I think it's recording, so probably you could also share the recording so that you can actually you can go through the speech again.
Okay.
Right. Thank you,
okay. Aside the recordings, we also have the meeting being translated, so we could also send that as well when sharing the recordings on the group chat. Okay. Any more questions, please? Do we have any more questions? I saw another hand up. Do we have any more questions? Okay. In the absence of no other question, thank you so much, Mr. Damilola, for spending your evening with Top 100. Oh, okay. Amira Badmus just raised her hand. Okay, please unmute your mic and speak.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the insightful session. I must say I've learned. So my question is, If you want to be an advocate of something, or you just want to start based on your passion, and then you can't seem to find that thing in your community, or rather you're seeing it as it's a global thing, not it hasn't, like, it's not in your community, you have not started seeing those problems in your communities, but rather it's like an international problem. Can you be an can you start advocating? And if you want to start advocating, how do you go about it?
Okay, so I think if I get your question correctly, you're saying that if you're advocating on an issue, but the issue does not affect your community, but you want to start advocating. So I think it's usually good that your advocacy most times, and then based on your lived experience, meaning that based on the issues that are relevant, to your community. Because if you go to your community and start engaging people on issues that does not affect them, it will likely lead nowhere. So you want to ensure that you focus on issues that actually affect your community. It will be a global issue, but you must ensure that whenever you're having a targeted advocacy, you ensure that you focus on issues that affect that particular community. So to give you an example, when I was giving my presentation, I talked about the Bagega community in Zamfara State. Lead contamination is actually a problem in several countries actually. But for this particular issue, the issue was that that particular community, was not given attention by the government. There was no funds released to that community for them to be able to clean up and take care of people who were affected, by lead contamination. That was the issue affecting the community. And that's why, people who worked on that particular campaign, they were able to go to the community. They took photos and videos, interviewed members of those communities, and they were able to amplify, the voices of those communities to achieve a change. But if it was a situation that does not concern the community, then it will become very difficult for you to, amplify their voices or to advocate on that particular issue. So you must ensure that the issue is relevant, to what is happening to that particular community. And that's why you can get the buy-in of stakeholders in your community to support you on the advocacy.
Thank you very much, sir.
So that's clear. But that's different from if you are trying to raise awareness. So, for example, let's say in a particular community, none of them is knows how to use digital technology. Like there's no digital literacy, and maybe globally around the world, there's high demand, for people who are able to leverage digital skills, and you want to bring those skills to that particular community. That's quite different. That is you empowering the members of your community to be able to participate in the global economy. So that's quite different from when you want to advocate, for a particular change in the community. For you to do advocacy in that particular community, it has to be an issue that concerns that particular community. I hope I've been able to answer your question, Amira.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Amira, for the question. Sir, something came to mind, though it's a very blunt question, but I'm still going to ask. So you talked about getting involved in volunteering services, community service, and all of that. Okay, I want to ask from the standpoint of being a corper. So let's say a core member is being posted to a secondary school here in Lagos, an all-girls secondary school. Sometimes I don't know, but I feel like because Lagos is very well developed to a very large extent, so like there are few problems you get to identify. Well, maybe there are actually more, but I'm just saying there are few you get to identify. So let's say the person or the corper finds his or herself in a government school where it's just all girls. How well can that corper utilize the whole community development service? Like, what do you think the person? I don't want to bring in the case of passion. Let's say the person does not have any passion, no passion at all. You're just in that environment and you want to do something impactful, bring about the change. How would you advise the person to carry on with that?
Okay. Before I answer that question, I'd just like to say is that volunteering is not just about um working in a place whereby is less developed. I mean, even in developed countries, in Europe, in North America, there are people, there are volunteer organizations. There's always problem across the world, regardless of how developed a community or a country is. So when it comes to volunteering, it's not just saying, oh, you have to go to a rural, community. Wherever you are, you can actually volunteer. The idea of volunteering is that you are passionate about a particular cause, or you are interested in a particular area, and you want to use the opportunity, to gain experience, to gain skills, to gain knowledge, but also contribute to social impact, without the pressure of, maybe like a full-time job or just like that. So that's the idea of being a volunteer. So you tell you're serving a corporate, is serving in Lagos State, and they are not passionate about any area, and they want to make social impact. So I think one of the things that actually drives volunteering is actually your passion, because being a volunteer means you actually not be paid for the service you render. So you have to ensure that you're not just volunteering for the sake of volunteering. You're volunteering in an area that actually interests you and that you are passionate about. So if you are not, maybe the school you are serving, you don't see any volunteering opportunity, there are several other organizations, outside the school that you can actually look up to see what they are doing. And if it interests you enough, you can actually join. But there is no point in volunteering for a cause that you are not passionate about or you are not interested in. That would be a complete waste of time. The idea of volunteering is that you're passionate about a cause, or you want to gain skills, knowledge, or experience in a particular area, and you are leveraging the opportunity, to get that experience. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
A little bit, sir. Can I rephrase the question?
Yes, John.
Okay. So let's say it's not about volunteering now. The person just wants to do something in that community. Maybe partner with some other people to do something, or do something personally, because I remember in camp they talked about personal CDS, community CDS, group CDS, and all of that.
Okay,
I don't know if you get.
I think I understand you. I think you're talking relative to NYC. So there's a difference between when you are being compared, by someone to do something, and when you want to do something yourself. When I'm talking about volunteering, I'm talking about self-driven volunteering. I'm not saying the personal CDS that NYC is mandating you to do just for you to pass the service and you can get your certificate. But that one is quite different. Just like when you were given homeworks or were given projects when you were in school, you probably don't want to do it, but you are just doing it so you can just pass. Those ones are just passive engagement, right? I'm talking about active volunteering, not because you are being forced by NYC and are saying if you don't do your personal CDS, we are not going to clear you, you are not going to get your alawi, you are not going to get your certificate. That one is quite different, right? Because you are being forced, like you are not really interested, you're just doing it just because it's actually a mandatory requirement. I'm talking about active volunteering, you actively looking for opportunities, working in area that is of your interest. So for your personal CDS, it will serve you if you actually engage in an activity that you're actually interested in, rather than just passively working to, pass the requirement of NYC, doing what you are not, passionate about. I hope you're able to get the distinction between what I was discussing and the issue of personal CDS.
Yes, sir. I get it.
Yeah, so it will serve you better if you ensure that the personal CDS is not just a passive engagement, but you look for areas or courses that you are at least interested in, even though you are not passionate, you are at least interested in, or you are curious about working.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir. Any more? I saw a hand raised up. Please unmute your mic and speak. Akindele Ogunremi Akindele. Please unmute your mic and speak. Okay, or Deborah. Okay, he's already understand that. Already.
Yeah, good evening. Hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hello.
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you.
My question is, I'm currently working in one of the high schools in Nigeria, and my passion lies on how to help the students who are lagging behind in their academic. What step can I take for my voice to be heard? Do you get my question, sir?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Could you please come again?
I'm currently working in one of the high schools in Nigeria. My passion lies on how to help people who are lagging behind in their academics. What step can I take for my voice to be heard across the nation?
Okay, so if I get you correctly, you said you are currently working in a high school in Nigeria, and your passion is to actually help students who are actually left behind in the academics. And what step you can take to ensure that your voice, I think that's where I lost you. I think your voice is hard. I'm not sure I got your question correctly.
What can I take for my voice to be heard across the nation? Do I need to register my foundation?
Okay, so I think I understand your question now. So there are several ways you could actually engage. It's not much you become a founder or you register an organization. If you want to do that, that's fine. But not everybody has the technical capacity or the emotional capacity to be able to manage an organization. You might look for existing initiatives. I'm sure that several existing initiatives who are also working on education. I mean, in Lagos, there's Slum to School, and there are several other organizations who are working in this particular area. So you could actually join them, in that area. But one thing you should just try to do is that don't just join as a passive member. Make sure that you take, active roles in these organizations or any project that you join, and that will allow you to make more impact and stand out. And if you decide to see maybe if you decide to, after your analysis that maybe there's no organization solving this particular problem in a way that you would like to solve it, then you could decide to probably start your own initiative. But one good way to start is actually to join an existing initiative that exists in your community.
Akindele, I believe you've gotten a response. Oh, he's not responding.
Yes,
I believe he heard the speaker. Please, Miss Deborah, you can. Oh. All right. Thank you very much. I think
Thank you
this is going
very
to be our last question. Miss Deborah, you can.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, good evening, sir. I really appreciate the insightful talk and everything, but it got me thinking. In this our generation, what is in vogue is tech. Everybody's saying tech, because it's looking as if is what is sustainable, and so many other courses are being scrapped out, and many other jobs are being scrapped out. So it got me thinking: is it still wise to go along with a course of study? You probably even did good in it. You had the first class or even the best graduating student and all. Is it wise to continue in the path that you feel that this is not sustainable in the nearest future, or you just move to tech that everybody's moving into because the next generation is going to, and even this generation is already focusing on it? That's just my question.
All right, thank you so much, Deborah. I understand a lot of people, there's a lot of hype regarding tech, but you must also understand that tech is a tool, it's a tool that helps to amplify whatever you are doing. Tech is not just a standalone entity. It's either you are in education, and you're working in education, there's still a need for teachers. Either you are working in the healthcare sector, there's still need for healthcare professionals. Tech is not going to replace people automatically. It's just going to change the way the way those people work in that particular sector. So I don't know the sector that you are working in, but you must also understand that you need tech is just a tool, right? So there might be need for you to actually learn new technical skills to be able to do your job better, but that does not negate or invalidate your profession or your area of interest, right? So tech is just a tool. So it means that you will need to upgrade yourself to ensure that you are aware of the use of technology in your own particular industry, so you don't get left behind. But it does not invalidate whatever profession that you have actually studied. Except you believe that profession, I don't know the profession that you studied actually. Except you believe that the profession is not so relevant again, then of course there's also ways other opportunities to learn, and you go get a master's in a particular course. I mean, it was before that you have to get your master's, in your area of interest, like in your area that has to relate to your bachelor's. But now that's not the case. I studied pharmacy actually, but I can decide to go and study international policy as master's. I can decide to study, governance. I can decide to study law, in master's. So there's really no restriction, when it comes to master's. So you could actually go for a master's degree in an area that you believe is relevant. If you think your bachelor's degree, might not be so relevant again, due to shifting dynamics in the world, including with technology.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, I believe that answers. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful time. Just a comment. The founder dropped a comment in the chat box. He said, we can also add that Damilola Babatunde graduated with a first class. Yeah, it actually caught my attention when reading your profile, and it was in pharmacy. And all of the things you're doing currently, it's outside of pharmacy. So like that was a very big transition, and it's a very good one. So thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you for spending your evening with Top 100. Thank you for the knowledge you've impacted. Thank you and thank you. So please let us give our speaker a round of applause. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thanks so much. Thank you so much.
All right.
Paul, Chinerium, for inviting me and for coordinating the session. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we have the quiz ongoing. I believe you must have seen the pop-up. Have you seen the pop-up yet for the quiz? The quiz is currently ongoing. So I don't know if you've seen the pop-up yet on your screen. Okay. Okay, I would just confirm and get back shortly. Right, please just hold on for the quiz.
We can see any quiz.
Yes, please hold on. Yeah, please hold on.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Hold on. Okay, while we are waiting for the pop-up, okay, I would like to talk about the Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge. I think this is the third time we are talking about it now, and I don't know if we have cleared on it already. You could just go online, go on your YouTube, go on Google and type in the Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge. Yes, thank you, Joshua. So it's a challenge being held by an organization, and then they accept entries from. Sorry, hold on. I can see a pool. Okay. Okay, I believe you can see the pool now, right? I can see 29 votes. Can you see the pool being?
I thought you said it's a quiz. We can only see pool here.
Yes, that's the quiz. The pool is the quiz. So just answer the questions on the pool. That's the quiz.
Okay.
Yes, I can see 29 votes currently. So there should be a pool.
Sorry, where is the pool at?
A pool icon. It should be on your screen. I'm currently using my system. I don't know if this is just system enabled. Exactly.
Yes,
I think I'm not
you
sure.
can't see it on the phone.
Oh, you can't see it on your phone. Oh, okay.
I can't see it on my system.
I think it's.
So I'm using my system.
Hello, we cannot see it too.
Okay, so Matthew said he saw it on his phone.
Oh, okay. I think that it is actually active.
The poll is saying that it has ended.
People can see it on
I'm
their phone.
unable to click my own.
It is under activities, but then it has ended. Can you please bring it back?
Okay, let me speak to the team and see if they could bring it back. Just hold on. Hold on. Let me speak to the team. So when it comes up again, go to your activities, and you should find it. Just a minute. Let's see if it would come back. Okay. If it's back, I would let you know. I've not yet gotten a feedback to see if the quiz is coming back. So if it's coming back, I would let you know. When I get the feedback, I would let you know. So I was talking about the Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge. So you can just type that in on Google. Okay, it's back. Please, it's back. The quiz is back. So if you're yet to take it, go to your activities and take the quiz from there. So I believe everybody can see it now. Can everybody see it now?
Where do I see the activity?
No, I can't see it here.
Oh, okay.
I thought
Please
the second
click
poll,
go
that was
to
to get
go
the
to
name of the
tools, you can
person.
find out there.
It's two polls, but I can only see one thing.
Just click on in-call messages.
If you are using phone, click on that.
Like I can't see any poll.
You can click on the options. When you click on the options button,
If you're okay, if you're using your system, because I am using my system, go to the meeting tools. Go to the meeting tools. There's this icon. There's this box icon. Go to the meeting tools. You'd see breakout rooms, pools, Q&A, recording. Just click on the pools and then you'd see the question. Then if you're using your phone, somebody using his or her phone can please unmute the mic and explain, because I'm not on my phone. I'm on my laptop.
okay. If you're using your phone, you see the options button and three dots. So you click on that.
Okay.
On that, you click on in-call message. And by the top, you see tools. So you click tools and you see the poll.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you heard him.
exactly.
If
That
you're
is
using
where
your
I did
phone.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, once you
Thank
follow
you.
this, you can get it. Thank you.
All right. Someone just left a comment. Tap on the three button on the taskbar. You'd see activities in the drop notification. Tap on activities. You see the pool. So I believe everybody should have it now. If you're using your system, go to the dot meeting tools. You'd see breakout sections, pool. Tap on the pool and you'd see it. So I believe we should all be done with that. Let me see how many responses. Okay, we have
Good
96
evening.
votes. Okay, so okay.
Sorry, good evening. I only saw one question. That is one pool. I don't know if it is just one or more than one.
It is just this one. It is just this. So don't worry about it. Yes, it is just a question. Yes,
Okay,
and
thank
I
you.
can see I can see over 100 votes. So I believe most persons must have voted. So thank you very much for your active participation. So I was talking about the Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge. Okay. Goitom still needs help. Are you using your system or your phone? Okay, I'm not getting any feedback. Okay, the Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge. So you could type that on Google and you'd see what it is about. They launch a program every September where they get entries from young leaders across the globe. And then at the end of the submission process, then 12 winners get to emerge, 12 winners, and the 12 winners are given $1,000 each for what they've done. So basically, this whole concept is basically to showcase what you're doing in your immediate community, right? It could be under it could be under education, it could be under health. They align basically with the 17 SDG goals. So we are meant to submit. If you have a personal entry, Like if you're doing something and if you'd love to participate in this year's Learning Planet Youth Design Challenge, it's open to everybody. You just have to have something you're currently working on or something you plan to work on. You could either have something you're working on now or something you plan to work on. Now, you have to understand that if you're submitting an entry, you're practically competing with more than 5,000 youths across the globe. So, something really needs to identify key problems and bring about solutions. The entry should not be wishful thinking or wishful willing. It should be something that would really, really stand out. Like I said, you're competing with other youths across the globe, and only 12 winners get to emerge. So the thing is, we actually have a community for this project specifically. So I'll be sharing the link to that group chat after this call. So if you have anything you would like to propose to them, that is fine. Then we'll walk you through the whole writing process, because it will be sent as a proposal. I think it's around 800 words. Explain what you're doing, what you plan to do, the solutions you're bringing, etc, etc. But when you join that group, we'll talk more about it. So that is it basically. So I would like to thank all of you for actively participating in this section once more. I believe you've learned. I believe it's been impactful. I believe your mindset is being changed, because that's like the whole idea behind having talks with people above us, so that they can infuse knowledge in us and then we can go back and make do with that knowledge. So thank you once more for participating. So with this, would call it the end, would come to the end of the third day of the Future African Leaders Summit 2025. Thank you and do have a wonderful night.
Thank you so much for the great insights. Really appreciate. Thank you once again, and thank you everyone. Have a nice day.
Much.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Tinachirim.
Thank you, Ma. Do have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Do have a wonderful night.
So that's why I said.
Good evening. Thank you.
Sure, Emmanuel. Do have a wonderful night.